thank you for being with us tonight, September 21st. And I am Michael Coleman with the League of Women Voters of Oakland. The League of Women Voters is a trusted membership organization that encourages informed and active participation in government. We do not endorse or oppose candidates or political parties. The League participates in issue advocacy and voter education. The advocacy arm of the League may take positions on issues such as a rise in ballot measures. This forum is presented by the education arm of the League, which does not take positions or advocate for them. We're going to have 1.5 minutes for opening statements, and then we'll have 1 minute for each of the questions and for a 1-minute closing statement. And the candidates tonight are Marcy Hodge, Nahanda Imara, and Larry Reed. And we'll start with Marcy Hodge.
Good evening, and thank you for this open door. My name is Marcy Hodge. I'm a candidate for Oakland City Council District 7, and I am running because I am a lifelong resident of the East Oakland area, in particular District 7. And as a resident in the city, I haven't really noticed a lot of changes. And so I'm running because Oakland is at a crossroads. Oakland residents are looking for better jobs, or they're just looking for jobs. They're looking for higher wages. They're looking for safe neighborhoods. They're looking, for a leader that is actually going to fight for the issues for this district. District 7 is a district where, when you compare other districts, we don't really see the progress as we have seen with maybe District 5 or the North Oakland area or even West Oakland. And we need someone in office that is going to listen to the voice of the people and get out there and really be a fighter for improving our city here in District 7. District 7 also is rifled with many safety issues. Many residents talk about traffic. We sometimes drive up and down the streets and people are driving on the other side of the road. Many shootings happen in this district, and it's just a district where we need a representation, someone who's going to represent the district and fight for many issues that we have and need to be resolved.
Thank you. And now, Nahanda Imara.
Thank you. Is this on? Thank you. Good evening. I'm Nahanda Imara, and I'm running for District 7 City Council. And I really want to thank the League of Women Voters, Block by Block Organizing Network, and 100 Black Women for having this forum tonight. Thank you so much, and for all the work that you've done for Oakland and other communities. I live not too far from here in Brookfield Village, here in the Flatlands. I'm a mother, I'm an educator, and I'm a community advocate. I've been an organizer with Communities for a Better Environment for about 10 years, 9 years. I've been an educator with Merritt Community College, African American Studies Department for the past 10 years. And in those capacities, I have worked with grassroots communities, helped create a lot of coalitions and networks that want to and are fighting for positive change around health issues in Oakland. I think our health is at the core of what I consider the problems that we're facing. And health and environment, as you might know, are some of my core values. And if you know the fights that I've been fighting to protect our health, and we know that women and children are our most vulnerable populations when it comes to our health and environment. And so I'm running because I want to bring these networks, bring these coalitions, bring this experience as an educator, as a mother whose daughter went to Oakland Public Schools, who was born right here at Highland Hospital. I want to bring these networks, bring these skills that I have developed as an organizer and as an educator and as a parent into your seat. District 7 City Council is your seat, and I want to serve you, and I would hope you would want me to serve you too. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Larry Reed.
Thank you. Thank you. It has truly been an honor for me to... Thank you. It has truly been an honor for me to represent the residents of this district, the largest council member out of the 7. If you look at where we've come, the road we've traveled over 19 years, for someone to say there is no change, then they're absolutely incorrect. You know, right across the street on 94th and International, my church, Actual Gospel Church of God in Christ, we're building 59 units of affordable housing and retail. Next year on 105th and International, there's going to be 440 units of senior housing. Does anybody remember what Foothill Square looks like? That's an 84,000 square foot grocery store, a Wells Fargo Bank, a new Head Start Center. Carl's Jr. is not the kind of restaurant I want, but Carl Jr. is going to be coming there next year. Does anybody remember what 90th and MacArthur used to look like? There's 78 units of affordable home ownership housing that Gene Blackshear and Gloria Jeffries fought to make it happen. Does anybody remember what 98 and MacArthur used to look like? Where the old ice house used to be? There's 34 units of workforce housing. And we have been able to change this district in which we live in. Maybe not all the change that we would like to see, but it's been happening for 19 years. We've built more affordable housing in District 7 than any place else in the city. And we will continue to lead the way in building affordable housing for residents who want to stay out here in deep East Oakland, can be able to do that. We have created more jobs than any other council district outside of downtown Oakland. So there are some things that I would like to finish up, and I'd like the opportunity to do that. So I am honored, and I've been blessed, and I've been fortunate. I'm going to walk and knock on doors and try to convince the voters to give me an opportunity to next serve them, because I think I have provided the kind of leadership that this district has wanted.
Thank you very much. All right. And we'll start with the questions, and we'll start at this end and work down the table, and then we'll alternate as we go. So, Ms. Hodge, you get the first question. What are your plans to address development in your district, in this district, District 7, at the same time mitigate auto congestion? Transit through the district is deplorable unless you are close to BART.
Well, as far as development, it's important to really look at mixed-use development for whether it's workforce, affordable housing, low-income, or live-work units. We really need to look at a very diverse way of development. We also need to look at looking at different areas in District 7 in particular where we can maybe rezone so that we can have maximize the best availability of land use for our residents. Also, auto congestion. One of the main issues that I have with the city is turning streets like MacArthur, International, and San Leandro Boulevard into one-way streets going each way. That adds to congestion, and we really got to have smart planning. MacArthur Boulevard right now around the 73rd, 75th area is a one-lane each way. That increases traffic. We don't need to increase it. We need to open up lanes, not decrease them. Also for transit, we definitely need to work with AC Transit to develop and try our transit agencies to develop proper or expanding our transit in the city.
Okay. Ms. Amaro.
Yes. Thank you. The question is, how would I address development and auto congestion, if I understand correctly? So I believe that development that is coming into East Oakland needs to be equitable development. There needs to be community benefit agreements. And I think one of the things that might attract more development into Oakland is to really develop the infrastructure. When I look at downtown and I look at other parts of Oakland, I see that development is attracted to where they can connect into an infrastructure. I know San Leandro has, the city of San Leandro has a fiber optic program that is going to attract certain kind of tech businesses. And so I think when we look at East Oakland, District 7, it's a big district, and there's certain parts of it that need stronger infrastructure development. I think in terms of traffic congestion, I would get out of my car if we had better public transit. We need more bus services, not less. We need better access to transit, not less.
Thank you. Mr. Reed.
I truly believe that, Congresswoman Barbara Lee, myself, the mayor of San Leandro, the Secretary of Transportation broke ground on the BRT system. That's the bus rapid transit system that's going to run the whole international corridor from downtown all the way to the San Leandro BART station, Davis Street BART station. And I think once that is all built out, people will be able to move in a much more efficient manner where they will be able to get around anywhere in the East Bay. And one of the things that's starting to help drive economic development along this International Boulevard corridor is that BRT system. I guarantee you, the 440 units of senior housing that's going to get built on 105th where the old Lloyd Wise Oldsmobile dealership probably would not have done it if he didn't know that the bus rapid transit system is going to be built along that corridor. Bishop Bob is doing the first phase of what he's calling Africa Town. Ultimately, it's going to be 290 units of housing and about 30,000 square foot of ground floor retail for residents that want to shop can do that along the International Boulevard corridor. International Boulevard corridor is going to change.
You have the mic, Larry.
Okay, so are clean, trash-free streets impossible? Why is there less trash across the border in San Leandro?
So clean streets is possible for East Oakland, for District 7. I believe that a multi-jurisdictional approach, working with public works, working with community-based organizations, working with transportation departments, working with multiple jurisdictions within the city to address the illegal dumping. I believe that it's an opportunity that we could create green jobs for our youth and our residents who currently are underemployed in East Oakland. We could create a cleanup task force that is mobile. There's lots of creative ideas if we walk and talk to residents who see the illegal dumping that's happening in our community. And I think there are solutions that the community has, that other jurisdictions have had, to monitor, to take pictures, to write down license plates, and to move around so that these folks who are making these violations don't know when we're coming and how we're coming. I think there are definite solutions to end the illegal dumping in East Oakland.
Thank you. Mr. Reed.
Illegal dumping really is a huge problem out here in District 7 and in West Oakland. One of the things that I recently did is had the city administrator and all the department heads to get on the bus and drive them through my district so they could see what each of us see each and every day. And so for the last 3 weeks, they've been working on a plan. That plan will soon get rolled out, and we're going to have this huge suite working with waste management, the Teamsters, OPD. We're going to be towing abandoned vehicles, and we're going to be picking up all the illegal dumping that we can see. And it is a challenge, but not a challenge that we can't overcome. They made the mistake of telling me that I had some money left over when we had pay-go account, and so I'm going to be putting up cameras so maybe we can catch some of these folks, put them up on billboards and show their faces on TV. Maybe that will discourage the folks from coming in our city and dumping their garbage.
Yeah.
Dumping trash certainly is an issue for the city of Oakland. I think one of the issues why it's such a difference between San Leandro and Oakland, because there's probably more of a social, cultural difference where people know that if you go into San Leandro, you better slow down because you're probably going to get a ticket versus coming into Oakland and you've got folks speeding and driving on opposite sides of the street. So we need to really consider that. Also, as Larry talked about, is employing cameras in these areas like International. Certainly in the area where my mother lives, and when you go through the different canyon on Golf Links Road, there are people who are dumping garbage in those areas, and we've been asking for cameras for quite a few years. In the Serenity Park area, there's along the alleyway, those are dumping areas. So we really have to think about installing cameras and to prevent people from coming from other cities as well and dumping their trash. Also employing residents to really write down license plate numbers and possibly taking pictures of folks who are out there dumping to really prevent this kind of thing from continuing on.
All right. Now, the next question, we will start with Mr. Reed. Oakland has lost 25% of its African American population. What efforts will you make to maintain the rich cultural diversity that Black people bring to this city?
I truly believe that what we've been doing in the way of building the most number of affordable housing units in one of the last remaining areas in Oakland. District 7, District 6, and District 3 are the last remaining 3 areas where there is a majority of African Americans who live in. That's why I'm supporting what Bishop Bob talking about, you know, building what he terms Africa Town along the International Boulevard corridor. You got Chinatown, the Fruitville area is defined for Latinos. You got the Telegraph corridor defined as Koreatown. And so why can't we have an area that is defined for African Americans? So I am working hard to try to do that. But in my last 30 seconds, Kenny Houston, stand up. Kenny's got a big old cleanup, working with Union Pacific to try to clean up that whole San Leandro corridor. And we funded a $25,000 pilot project to help eradicate illegal dumping. And Kenny's leading the way with the East Oakland Beautification Council.
Thank you. Ms. Hodge.
You know, by the time we build enough affordable units, we will have lost even a greater percentage of African Americans because they're looking for affordable housing now. Many of you know Dr. C.L. Arrington. She was a professor at Barron College. She talked about this when I was 18, 19 years old, over 20 years ago. Many of my college professors when I was at Cal State Hayward talked about this. Why isn't the city not looking at these different trends? We know what's going to happen. We know when the federal government issues legislation that is going to create an impact with different cities. So these are things that we've got to ask our current council members, why weren't we building units? The Bay Area has produced almost 450,000 jobs in the Bay Area alone with only 54,000 units. We're not tracking, building housing units along with the job creation. So we've got to make our current council members who have been there for 20 years or so, what happened? Where's the planning?
Ms. Amara.
Thank you. Currently, I'm a part of a coalition that I'm a co-founding member of called the State of Black Oakland. And we've been holding people assemblies. The first one was last year at Jeffries in downtown. We had 500 Black folks there. Some of them who already have been displaced from Oakland, some of them who are still here holding on, and many of them who want the right to return. So I think one thing would be to create policies to help those residents who have already been pushed out, African American residents, to have a pathway back in. I also know that Elena Serrano with Eastside Arts Alliance and some other folks are working on a Black business cultural zone to bring back the kind of vitality that Oakland used to be known for the African American culture and population that still lives here, that used to be more thriving. And so I think that we need to support those kind of efforts that are looking for opportunities to create cultural zones and cultural business zones, and I would be definitely a part of strengthening those programs. Thank you.
Thank you. This next question will be the last one, and we will start with, let's see, Ms. Hodge. What would you do during the first 180 days in office to increase the tax base by 10% over a 5-year period?
Well, I've always believed, even when I sat on the Oakland Budget Advisory Committee in 2006 to about 2007, that we shouldn't always burden our residents with taxes. We need to drive business. I'm a business owner. I have a nonprofit group home for boys, and many of the legislation that the city approves impacts my business. And it's hard to be a business person in Oakland. So we really have to open the door and understand what drives business to Oakland. pursue businesses and to look for who's wanting to expand, court them and bring them into the city, negotiate them so that they can come in, look at incubators and startups. Because whether you have an established business, many times they're bringing in their employees. But if we're looking at people who are startups, we can negotiate contracts with them where they hire Oaklanders first. And we really have to push, because there are policies in place, really push to make sure that we have businesses that are thriving and also hiring Oaklanders first. So that's how we increase our tax dollar.
All right, next. Ms. Amara.
I believe one thing that I would look at to increase the tax base would be to look at the biggest economic drivers in the city, and that's the seaport of Oakland and the airport of Oakland. I'm sure that they are major multi-million dollar corporations that could give more to the tax base of Oakland. The seaport and the airport are the biggest economic drivers in the city, and that is one place that I would definitely look for. How do we create more opportunities to benefit from that tax base? In addition to that, I would look at big corporations that are starting to come into the city, like Uber, and figure out, are they paying their due tax to the benefits that they're going to be getting from coming into the city? And so I would definitely look at the richest of the rich and the big corporations that are coming into Oakland and benefiting from everything that they're going to benefit from coming into Oakland, and make sure that the Oaklanders and the taxpayers benefit from them paying a higher tax.
Thank you. Mr. Reed.
I think one of the ways you do is what we've been doing out here in District 7. In 19 years, we've built 5 hotels. There's this thing called TOT, Transit Occupancy Tax. It's not a tax on us, it's tax when people come into our city, stay at our hotels, and they pay the transit occupancy tax. And then it's also about creating automobile dealerships. It is one of the largest tax generators in the city. So we have 3 car dealerships in my district that we've built in 19 years. And we have a 4th one that's coming over on Oakport called Accurate. And so when we got another hotel behind the Harley-Davidson dealership coming, and then the old Holiday Inn hotel that shut down is going to reopen. It's 294 rooms. It's going to be a TGF Fridays, and it's going to be a Starbucks coffee as a part of that hotel complex. And that's going to create a lot of sales tax revenue since we have a shortage of hotels in our city. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. And that is, unfortunately, the last question we have time for. And now we will have closing statements. You get 1 minute for closing statements. We'll start with Mr. Reed and come this way.
Micah.
Thank you. I think the work that I do is truly what God put me on this earth to do, to give back, to make a difference. Because when I ran for city council 19 years ago, this was known as the killing fields of Oakland, where I had more young African Americans. And then when my district began to change and more Latinos moved in, I had more young African Americans and young Latinos dying on my streets. And so we have worked to create job opportunities. Go over to Foothill Square. Look at all those young African Americans who's working over there and who's working at Fowler's department store right across the street. Then go over to One Toyota, Coliseum Lexus, Paul Belanco's, and see who's working over there. There are people that live out here in this district, young African Americans. We have probably created more jobs outside of downtown Oakland than any place else in the city. If folks can't see that, come, I'll give you a tour. I will show you every single change that have occurred in this city in the past 19 years. I will be more than glad to do that and let you talk to some of the young people who are now occupying those jobs that we have created. So I just want an opportunity to finish what I started.
Thank you. Ms. Amara.
Yes, thank you. Again, I'm Nehanda Amara, and I would love to have your vote for District 7 City Council. As I said earlier, I'm an organizer, I'm an advocate for our environmental health and justice, and I think that I would like to see different kind of partnerships and different types of businesses, green businesses, sustainable businesses, cooperatives, different models of doing business, different models of creating jobs, working with Peralta community colleges and creating career pipelines for the vision that we know is coming into Oakland. As a mother, as an organizer, and as an advocate, I care about your health. I've been endorsed by the Sierra Club, John George, Democratic Club, Transport Oakland, Oakland Justice Coalition, Green Party of Alameda County, and the League of Conservation Voters. And I hope that I can get your vote because I want to see a different kind of change here in East Oakland. I think we've had a good foundation and we need to come up with some different, creative, unique ways of trying to create business, jobs, health and safety, and just policing for the residents of East Oakland. Thank you.
Ms. Hodge.
Thank you again for this open door. It's much appreciated. Again, my name is Marcy Hodge, and I am candidate for District 7, Oakland City Council race. I would ask District 7 voters to consider and to think about a leader. A leader has a vision, and they execute that vision. I would ask you to consider 20 years of service, almost 20 years of service in January. What is our current representative done with the 20 years that he has had? If he had a vision, he had enough time, more than enough time to execute that vision. What is he going to do with 4 more? It is time for change. And I'm asking you, when you go to vote for Marcy Hodge as your next city council representative. I want to see residents with jobs, safe streets, safe neighborhoods, and us no longer asking the questions about whether we can have that. We can.
Thank you very much to all the candidates and to the audience for coming to